Hello guys, so this is in fact my first hacking class in English. I usually record classes in Spanish, and this is a translation of a class that I recorded in Spanish. The topic that we are going to be seeing today is hacking accounts, hacking into accounts. And we're going to cover three methods. These are not the only methods, there are, I believe, the three easiest ones to the three easiest methods to do. So we are going to start with what is a data leak. So basically, when a website or application or whatever gets hacked, and the database gets leaked by the hackers, by any means, maybe a SQL injection, or maybe they got into the admin panel somehow, and they get access to the database in whatever way. Most of the times they sell it or they use it for personal gain, but most of the time they sell it. Sometimes that gets resold and resold and resold, and eventually it ends up free in the internet, and it is right there for whatever cyber criminal to use it against you. So what are some examples of data leaks? Because this is in fact very, very, very common, and maybe you have been the victim of one. So a lot of big companies, for example, LinkedIn, has been hacked, and a lot of records, 26 billion, as it says right here, was is exposed because of. I believe this is a combination of data leaks. I believe this is not the same case, but yeah, the one that I wanted to talk about is LinkedIn. Just to say that nobody is safe for this. When LinkedIn was hacked, there was this group of, I believe, Dutch hackers that looked into the data records and searched for Donald Trump's email, and they indeed find it in those records, and then they try to crack the password in that they crack the hash, because we're going to talk what's a hash later on. And they were able to do it, and they got into their Twitter account. The password was something very easy, something like "you're fired" or something like that. But yeah, nobody is safe from this, and that's why it's important to learn what is a data leak and how hackers use it. So I mentioned hashing. I mentioned that Chrome's password wasn't used there in the database. So what's a hash? Hashing it's a mathematical operation where you put one data into this algorithm, this hashing algorithm, and it gives you a hash. And a hash is just like a string of letters and numbers, like this one right here. Like this one right here, which represents the data that you put, but without keeping the data right there. I put it in this way. It allows you to verify if y value is equal to x value without keeping the exact value of x. What do I mean by this? So let's say that you want to check the value of password, this text called password right here, and you pass it through a hashing algorithm. In this case, this is MD5, and then you get this. In this case, you don't know what's this. You don't know this. You only get the end result of this. And if you want to ask someone what's the password without keeping the password, you just hash the new password that the user sent you. You verify against this hash, and if it's correct, then it's correct, and if it's not, then it's not. So it's really, really easy in that sense. I'm going to show an easy way to hash in Linux. You put echo -ne and then something, and then you put this character that I don't know the name in English, and you put MD5 sum, and it gives you the hash. So this is a hash of something. It can be whatever. You can even hash files to verify if a file is equal to another file. We can do that. For example, I have this file called notes, which is actually this file, and I can put MD5 sum notes, and as you can see, it gives me the hash of this file. But what if I compare it to another file, MD5 sum hash? As you can see, this is different. So if I wanted to compare if this file and this file are equal, one way that I could do that is by getting the hash of both and comparing if they are the same. The thing with hashes is that even if the value changes a little bit, the entire hash changes completely. To exemplify that, I'm going to use that space right here and save, Control S to save, and I'm going to check again the MD5 hash of notes. As you can see, it's a completely different value now. It was this before, it is this now. So in fact, MD5 is not a secure hashing algorithm, and that's because of a type of attack called hash collisioning, which is very hard to do for us regular humans, but it's really easy to do for state-sponsored attackers. Basically, collision is when you are able to make a value that is not the original value of the hash to generate the same hash as the other value. In the example where we were putting passwords, we were comparing passwords to hashes, that will allow you, for example, to sign into an account without having the original password. You can just generate a hash collision or a collision of that hash and send that to the server, and then you're able to log into the account without having the original password. You are just using a collision. And that works because it will generate the same hash. Let's say that this is the hash, and you're able to generate this exact hash, but with a different value. This is a vulnerability. It's not easy to do for us. It requires a lot of processing power, but it's possible. So that's why MD5 is in fact not used anymore, or it's expected to not be used. But yeah. So, well, we're going to continue. So we're talking about that you cannot recover this text from here. Once you pass this data to the hashing algorithm, there is no way to recover this. Well, there is a way, which is brute forcing, but there is no other way apart from that. So if you're able to guess what's the value, then you are able to recover it. But that at that point, is it really recovering? It's more like you are guessing it, and you are able to verify if your guess is correct or not. So yeah, there are many ways to, well, no, not many ways. There are many resources that you can use to crack a hash. In this course, we're going to go over 3. These two, we're going to check them later, which is Hashcat, which is one of the most popular tools for cracking hashes. The other one is hashes.com, which is a website where you can just put a hash, and it will, if it is in their database, it will tell you what's the hash. I don't know if they use rainbow tables or something. That's another thing that I'm not going to cover because I don't have any rainbow tables. They are very space consuming. So what we are going to do is we are going to create our own password cracker. And what are we going to do? We're going to hack this email right here, racula@gmail.com. So how do we crack this? So we were saying that there are data leaks out there online, and you can get the hashes from passwords. So if you get someone's email, maybe through OSINT is open source intelligence, basically looking for information online until you find something. And let's say that you find someone's email. The first thing that a hacker would do, not us, we're good guys, this is just for educational purposes, once the hacker finds your email, let's say that you're Congracula, what they would do is copy paste. Then they would go to a site called Breach Directory, and they will paste it here, and they will click this purple button, and they will solve a very, very annoying CAPTCHA. They use HCAPTCHA, which is, in my opinion, the worst type of CAPTCHA. They are really annoying. Please click the object that will tip the scale. You have to be an elite hacker to solve this type of CAPTCHAs. Yeah, so now it's checking it. And as you can see, it shows examples of where this email was found. In fact, Dracula, well, it seems like a really easy email. So my guess is that a lot of people use dracula@gmail.com as a default, but it's not the real email. It's just something that they put because they don't want to put the real email. Maybe one of these is the real password of Congracula, but we will never know. We will have to ask him in Transylvania. So yeah, so there is all these sites that have been hacked and their data of their users have been exposed. And the thing with Breach Directory, a difference with Have I Been Pwned, which is another site. Have I Been Pwned? Oh, in fact, I have it open right here. The thing with Have I Been Pwned is that it also tells you about data leaks, but it does not give you the password hash. Breach Directory is cooler because it actually tells you the hash. As you can see, it's almost the same results. I saw that it chess was over there. Yeah, somewhere here. But yeah, it tells you the different hashes, and we are going to crack one of these hashes. So yeah, this is a SHA-1 hash. SHA, I believe, means secure hash, and this is version 1. There are other SHA hashing algorithms, but this is the one that they are using. And as you can see, the password is censored, but how can you uncensor this? It's not as easy as just going with inspect element and clicking and seeing if the password is you're able to uncensor it or not. In fact, you have to crack the hash, and I'm going to copy it right here. I bet you can guess what's this password. It seems very easy, but we're going to try to, we're going to try to hack this one. It seems the easiest one. It's easy enough. So we're going to create nano hash.txt. Oh, I already have a hash. I'm going to create nano hash2.txt, and I'm going to paste it. So in this case, we know this is SHA-1, it's the algorithm that is being used, but how would we be able to tell? Because if you remember, the other hash also looks like just a string of random numbers. How are you able to tell them apart? So yeah, how would someone do that? Well, for that, there are tools. If you are using, by the way, I'm using Linux. I recommend you to use Kali for this class. I believe it's a good way for beginners to follow along. But you can use whatever Linux distribution or even Windows if you install the right tools. So HashID is a tool that allows you to identify a hash. Yeah, so I'm going to paste, and as you can see, it says that the most probable algorithm is SHA-1. So yeah, I'm going to go for that, and we could have an easy life and go for Hashcat or hashes.com, but we're here to learn, so we're going to create our own cracking script. So how do we do that? We type code cracker.py. Cracker. Yeah, so So now what? Yeah, for this we will need two things. We're going to need a password list, and we are going to use a password list. Okay, so how do we get that? We're going to go to GitHub password lists. We want a small list. We don't really want the biggest list out there, which I believe it's rockyou.txt. We just want common password lists. I have some in my computer, but I want you to see how you find one. Yeah, so how do we, is it this one maybe? Yeah, this one seems decent enough. Yeah, it says 1000 passwords. I think we can use this one. So we copy here. Now we put, yeah, you will need a, I'm using Visual Studio Code. You will need a text editor. You can use whatever text editor that you prefer. So I'm going to put nano passwords. Oh, I'm not in the right. Nano passwords.txt. I copy paste. I Control S to save and Control X to exit. And now what? We go to our cracker, and we in Python there is this library called hashlib, which allows you to calculate hashes. How do we do that? Python 3. You will also need Python installed. If you're in Kali Linux, that's not a problem. Or actually, if you're in any distribution of Linux, you should have it installed, but just check. If you're using Linux, you don't need me to tell you how to install Python. So use import hashlib. Actually, from hashlib, import SHA-1. And now you do SHA-1. You put a V in front of the string because it needs to be bytes, not a regular string. And you put password, then you put hex digest, and it gives you the hash. This is how you calculate a hash. Hashlib has a lot of functions for this. As you can see, it has SHA-1, a lot of them, MD5. Yeah, there are a lot. In this case, we only care about SHA-1 and maybe later MD5. So what do we do now? By the way, this is just a way to show you how a password cracker works like. It is not doing it with Python is not a good way of doing it, because Python is an interpreted language and it is very slow compared to other tools. For example, Hashcat is what I will tell you to use if you were actually trying to crack a hash in an engagement, in a pen test, or in a CTF or whatever. Don't actually use a Python password cracker because they are slow and it's going to be a pain in the ass, especially if you're doing it single threaded like I'm going to do. Again, this is just an example to show a proof of concept of how a password cracker works. So yeah. So first what you're going to do from hashlib import SHA-1. Now you need to open the passwords file. You need to know what's inside of that. So we're going to do with open passwords as password.txt as f, and then you put passwords equal f.read and then .split. So what's this doing? Basically, with open as f, it will open the file and store the file object into this variable called f, and after that you can apply functions to that object, like .read, which basically gives you the contents of the file. So yeah, you get the contents of the file, but the problem is that the contents of the file are in this format. It's just a string, so we want them separated so we can iterate over them. For that we use .split. What does .split do? Well, I'm going to show you. If I put hello world .split, it will give you a list. If you don't know Python, it's a good time to start learning it. It will give you a list of two objects, hello and world, and then well, you can iterate over this. If I will save this into a variable, and then you can iterate over it. For I in variable print I. Iterate just means go one by one and apply whatever it is inside of this for loop. In this case, we're just doing print. So yeah, it shows hello, the world, and yeah, really easy stuff. So in this, right here, we're reading what's inside of passwords, and we are getting everything inside of a list. Now we want our hash with open hash2.txt as f. Hash equal f.read dot strip. What does strips do? Basically it does this. Let's say you have this text hello with a lot of spaces in between, as you can see, and you put a letter, you put dot strip. It will trim it down so you only have hello without all these spaces. This is because like here it looks normal, but I don't know if this text has like a space that I'm not seeing, or maybe a how do you say it? A jump line character or something like that. That will mess the program because as you remember, the hash creates a very exact value, and if it's not exactly that value, that will mess up the process. So yeah, now what? We already have our passwords and we have our hash. What do we have to do now? I invite you to stop the video and think for a second what will be the right thing to do if we want to crack the hash. Okay, you had enough time to pause. So we want to go over the passwords. We want to hash every single one of that password and compare it to the hash. So we want to go one by one of this password file, 1, 2, 3. We hash it, we compare it to this right here. If it is correct, then we stop. Otherwise, we go to the next one. Again, we hash it, we compare it, and so on and so on. So yeah, for password in passwords, what we do, hashed password equals hash, no, SHA-1 password dot strip. We're doing the same as here, so it doesn't have any weird spaces nor jump lines nor whatever. And then we do dot encode. If you remember, we need to send bytes to this, not a string. A string is regular text. This needs bytes to do its mathematical operation. And then we do hex digest to get this hash in a cute string format. So after that, we do a very, very, very complicated thing. I'm joking. We just compare hash password equals hash. If we compare if these are the same, then if that's true, we break. That means we stop executing this loop right here, and we print f, in fact, password equals hash password. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to run this now. Hopefully it will work. Am I in the right place? Where did I store this? I think I did not put that in the right place. Code cracker.py. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what happened. I accidentally opened it in the wrong place. But yeah, I save it in the right place now. So yeah, Python 3 cracker. And as you can see, it tells you that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is equal to this hash that we cracked. Can we do that with other? Let's grab one like this one. Let's copy it and let's go Python 3 from hashlib import one. In fact, we don't have to do this. We're going to sit, and the only thing that I'm going to change from this code is I'm going to change to MD5 instead of SHA-1, MD5. And I have this hash right here, which I'm not going to tell you what's the value inside of it. This is just another hash, but the difference is that this is MD5. As you can see, hash ID, and you paste it, it says it's MD5 right here. It says it's MD2 first, but don't believe that, it's MD5. And we are going to change, instead of hash2, we're just going to put hash. And let's see if it works. Python 3 cracker. So yeah, it is telling you that the text password is the value of this hash, and that's true. When I put this, the value that I put is password, and I hash password, and I put it inside that file. So yeah, we did it the hard mode. I mean hard mode because there are easy ways to crack a hash, like using Hashcat, for example. But it's, as you can see, it's really not that hard, and you can make it even harder. For example, this is a very amateur script. It took us very little lines of code, and this will take forever in a real scenario. But again, this is just a proof of concept, so you understand. So now we're going to, oh, in fact, we already hacked Congratula, right? We got this hash from this data leak, and from wherever data leak this came from, because rich directory doesn't tell you what's the site that this comes from. We know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was one of the passwords that Dracula used, and well, a hacker, and not we are good people. So what a hacker would do in this case is they will get, now that they know one of your common passwords, they will check in different sites if they are able to reuse that password, because a very common thing is to check, a very common thing that people use in their regular life is that they reuse passwords. So maybe you have the same password for Instagram, your email, for your work computer, so on, because passwords are complicated and they are a lot. If you don't have like the exact same password in different places, you probably have like a variation of the same password. So password plus a number, or password plus the name of the site that you're visiting. So yeah, what an attacker would do in this case scenario is that they will try the same password in different places until they are able to get somewhere and steal information or money from you. So yeah, how to mitigate this? Well, there are two ways from doing this. There is no way to escape from data leaks, principally because it's not your fault. That's mostly like a bigger problem than you, because it's a problem with the sites that are getting hacked. But what you can do to mitigate it is, one, use a password manager and randomize passwords, which will allow you to, so you don't have to remember very complicated passwords in every single place. You can just check your password manager and see and copy paste it, or if you have a browser extension that does that, it will automatically fill the forms. though I don't personally recommend that. There has been cases of those type of passwords being password managers getting hacked. What I recommend is KeePass. That's an offline password manager that is really good and really secure. I recommend it. Yeah, so what's next? We already hacked Congracula. What's next? We are going to learn how to fish. We're going to go back to the notes. So we are here. What's phishing? So phishing is the other way that is very, very, very common for hacking into an account. Basically, you clone a website and you somehow social engineer the person that you want to hack into putting their username and password into the failed login by making them think that it is a real place. Maybe you send them an email that says that their password, whatever, that they need to log in immediately, and they go and they put their password in the fake website, and that fake website of course gives you the credentials, the email and the password. So that's really easy to do. In fact, we're going to do that one live. We are going to make a fish for Facebook. Actually, I think I cannot make a fish for Facebook because I'm using LibreWolf, which is a browser that that is made for privacy, and if you go to facebook.com, it is blocked. You cannot access it. Or yes? Oh, you can. Oh, you can. It was blocked before. Well, that's good. So how do we get this? The way that I'm going to do it, well, you can go to view page source and it looks like shit. It's a lot. I'm going to copy paste. First I'm going to create a new folder, www. Go to www and I'm going to put nano index.html, and now I paste what I copied. And now I'm going to put python 3-m http server 8000. So what this does, it creates an HTTP server, basically a website inside of your computer that you can visit in this port. And what's inside that website? Well, we just put this index HTML file, which is going to show something very similar to a Facebook login screen. If we localhost, yeah. So one problem that we're having right now is that we don't have the CSS files. So what now? Okay, if we were in a real scenario, we could figure out a better way to do this. I don't want to spend time doing this, so what I'm going to do is go to GitHub and search for Facebook login template. Yeah, let's use this one. I'm going to have to pause the video for a few seconds. Alright, I'm back. So we're going to check this one right here, I believe, because it says it's CSS. This one says it has some Python thing. I don't care about that. I just want the HTML and the CSS. So let's clone this and see how it looks like. So yeah, I'm going to go back, git clone, and I copy paste this link. You can get it from the recording. Just write it down. I git clone it, and now I will go inside Facebook login, and I will put again the same command as before, HTTP server. I don't have it anymore. Localhost. Yeah, well, it looks really similar. I'm going to put the real one right here. As you can see, there is very few signs that they are different. And of course, this can always be made in a better way. but it looks really good in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to close the real one, and this is our fake Facebook login. What now? Well, we are not going to use Python HTTP server. What we are going to use is we're going to use a PHP server. So we're going to close, Control-C, and we're going to put php.s HTTP. Oh no, I believe it's like this, the syntax, if I don't remember. Yeah. So yeah, this will look like the same because this is also an HTTP server, but the main difference is that this HTTP server can execute PHP, so we can give logic to our an HTTP server is just like sharing, well, many times it's just like sharing a folder to the internet. If you have a folder in your computer or a directory, I don't know what's the exact word in English, so you can have files inside of it, right? Like in this case we had index.html, default CSS. This is just a bunch of files. But a PHP, in this case, some HTTP servers can execute code inside of that folder. So this PHP server allows us to execute PHP code, and we're going to use that logic with PHP to save the data that the user types into here, because right now if the user types stuff, nothing happens. Test, nothing happens, right? But we're going to change it so this data gets stored with PHP, and after that we're going to make it so it redirects you to Facebook login again, so it looks like you just mistyped your password and you are getting redirect to the try again page. So how do we do that? Well, first we open the folder that we have, and index.html is the file. Now we want to go to the form that we were typing into. So we type form, and in action we are going to put logger.php, and method we're going to put what's going on? Fuck. For some reason my keys are not working. I'm going to pause the video 1 second. Okay, I'm back. That was weird. I don't know why my keyboard was not working correctly. So we're in this form, and we're going to change it so the action is logger.php, so we're going to send to another file called logger.php, and the method that we want to use is post. Method equals post. So now we have to create the logger. How do we do that? Well, we go again to our I'm going to have to open another shell. And facebook.login, and I'm going to open code logger.php. This one doesn't have a funny name like cracker.py. So yeah, what now? First we want to know what are the parameters that are being sent. In this case, the parameter names are, it doesn't have any parameter names. Well, we're going to fix that. Email, name equal email, and name equal pass. And in this login button, we are going to change to, I believe, can you put a type? I believe it has to be an input for that. Yeah, we're going to change this. Value equals login input type equals submit. So yeah, the reason we're doing that is because I don't remember if you can make a button class submit. You're most likely able to do that, but I just want to make sure by putting type equals submit in an input field in HTML. So we're going to update just to verify that it looks exactly the same. That's important for this operation. We don't want to fuck anything up. So now we go to logger.php, the other file that we have. We want to, the first thing that we want to do is we want to validate, let me close all these things, we don't need them anymore. The first thing that we want to do is we want to check if the email and the password are being sent. So how do we do that? If is set remember that we said we want a, what the fuck, again my keys are not working. Yeah, okay, post name, was it email and he said post pass. Okay, so this basically validates that these two post parameters, pass and email, are exist in the request. What's next? Well, we want to create a new file and store what's inside of this, store the values of this into that file. This is not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to put it inside of a database. The reason of this is because a user can just look in the browser to the file that we're going to store it. But this is not a real scenario, so we don't care. If this was a real scenario where a hacker was doing it, they will probably not do that, or maybe they would, and that will be an OPSEC failure in their site. But I mean, it's not the matter of this video. So what's next? We're going to create a new variable. Yeah, we're going to create, we're just going to put the value inside of it, and we're going to improve it later. File, put contents. The file that we want to put it is loot.txt. What value do we want to put? We just want to put the email. Post email, and we also want to put the password. Oh fuck, I'm using a different keyword from what I normally use, so that's why I have a lot of typos. Pass. So yeah, this is just going to write post, this is just going to write into a file called loot.txt the email and the password separated by this column right here, so we can have it in a nice format. So let's try this out. As you can see, if you go right here to loot.txt, nothing happens, it says not found. But what happens now if you put my email at gmail.com and you put a password? This is wrong. We first want to change it to type password, and this we probably don't want type text either. We want a type email. Yeah, so the reason we changed that is if you put type text, you can put whatever text here. If you put type email, it will not allow you to put whatever. For example, here I'm putting OWO, and I'm going to put a password here. As you can see, changing type password, it hides the password that I'm typing. It makes it look more realistic. And now, as you can see, it is telling me, please enter an email address. That's because type email in an input field checks that you're putting an actual email, an actual email, and not just whatever text. So yeah, we're going to put OW at OW.com. And it sent me to nothing. It sent me to logger.php. It seems like a blank page, because it is. But what now? If we check loot.txt, it got stored right there. It's the exact things that I typed. So yeah, this is already a working fish, but we can improve it a lot. So yeah, what's next? We go to our logger, and well, another problem that this has is if I put a different value, it will delete the previous one. As you can see, it replaced the other one. It was OW, now it's UWU. It is just replacing it. So what we actually want to do is we want to store the previous value. Old file equals file get contents, and it's just load.txt. So here we're getting the value of this file, similar to in our Python script. We were getting all the passwords in the password file and storing it here. And now we are going to create this new row. New content equal, let's put old content equals all content, concatenate yeah, and then this. So what is this doing? This is taking the old content from the file, the old content from the file that we read right here. Then it is concatenating it to, what's going on? Why is it not letting me see the strings? What is it? Why is it not letting me? Yeah, so whatever. It was fixed. I'm not really sure, but I just changed it so it uses, it creates a new file here, and then it concatenates it here. So whatever. We are going to save this, and we are going to, if we go to loot and we update, we see that it already has UWU. But if we go to here and we put a different value, and we go again to loot txt, we see that it is storing the different logs now. So that's really cool. But it can be still improved. So the way that we do that, it's location So yeah, in PHP you can change the HTTP headers of a response, and we can put a location header, which basically means that we can send them to a different website. So how would this look like? Let's say that I get sent this link and I am told that I have to log immediately or whatever. So I just put click the login button, and what happened, it didn't do anything. Oh well, in fact it did, because it redirected me to facebook.com. This is instead of getting me to the blank site that it did before. So yeah, this as you can see, it looks pretty realistic. For someone that is not paying attention, it seems like nothing happened. We're going to put some random email here in Facebook to see what actually happens if you put wrong information. test@email.com test. So, well, it's taking long. It is taking way too long. Huh. Yeah, but it says that it didn't find the account. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so what we're going to do, instead of sending them to facebook.com, we're going to send them here. I think that's cooler. It looks more realistic. So we copy the link. Now we copy this. And we go back to our local host. So this is our fake login, as you can see, localhost. After we put our information, what happened? Oh, I'm dumb. I accidentally delete the header name. So yep, again, as you can see, it sends us to the same Facebook login that it will send us to. So this looks pretty convincing, in my opinion. If we had a similar domain to Facebook, I think we could very easily trick someone. This is already a working fish. This is, of course, just educational purposes. So yeah, what's the last way that we're going to cover on how to hack accounts? Because we already saw two very good ones. The last one is in fact not as good or not as easy as the previous two. In fact, that's why I put it at the last step. The last way to do it is through malware. In this case, we're going to use a Python malware, a Python keylogger, which would not work in real life, because first, to run a Python program in another computer, you need to that computer has to have Python installed, which most of people do not have Python installed in their computers. And the other thing that is a problem is that if you use a solution like PyInstaller to compile that Python script so you can run it in whatever computer, no matter if they have Python installed or not, that will immediately get found by a anti-malware, like an antivirus. That's really easy to discover, and also really easy to reverse engineer. So if a security engineer, a security researcher found your program and they analyzed it, they could very easily see what's doing. If you have any type of private information like your C2 or something, it will immediately get detected. So yeah, it's not, Python is not good for making malware, but again, this is a proof of concept. Python is mostly just good for making scripts and tools and things like that, but not for making malware or things that are supposed to be done by a low-level program like C. That's what C for speed and for things that are low-level. So yeah, what's next? We're going to make our Python keylogger. I didn't even explain what's a keylogger. I was explaining what malware is. So a keylogger is a program that when you type a key into your computer, a key is whatever, is a letter like A. It just logs it into a file, and in some cases it sends it to a server or something, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to type that information into a file. So how do we do that? In Python, there is this library. It's an outside library. It's a third-party library. It doesn't come with Python by default, called keyword. We have to install it. In Linux, it requires sudo access. So we put sudo pip3 install keyword. This is not regularly a good idea to use sudo install something like a random ass package, but we're going to do it anyways. I'm going to pause recording to put my password. Yeah, so I already had it installed, but now you have it here. You will have a different output. Probably will say that it is installing or whatever. So now what? We are going to code keylogger.py. We are going to Google very easy keyword Python keylogger, because in fact I don't use this library at all, so I don't remember the syntax. The only thing that I remember from this library is that you can put an event into a keyboard event. For example, type in a key, and after that you can do something. And that's basically how this keylogger works. It puts an event listener in, basically an event listener into, event listener is not the right word, but let's say it like that, into the keyboard presses, and then it writes it into a file. So yeah, we're going to use an easier one. I don't find the exact one keylogger that I was looking for. We're going to do it ourselves. It's not that easy, not that hard after all. Keyword Python library. Yeah, so what's in there? Key press, right? I believe. I'm going to pause the video to find the documentation that I need. So I already had this file, the keylogger file, in my notes, because yesterday I recorded this class was in Spanish. So yeah, we're going to go over it. What is it doing? So yeah, basically it imports the keyboard library. It defines a file called keystrokes.txt. Then we put this we create this function that when it is called, it gets a keyboard event, and we open a file which is log file keystrokes.txt, and we use append. That basically means that we add to the file instead of writing directly into it. If we write directly into it without the A of append, it will happen similar to what we had in our fish, that it replaces the entire text instead of writing new one. So we are appending, or that means adding more text, and the text that we are adding is the event name, which is a string of the key that we press. So after defining this function, we had keyboard.onPress on keyboard, which basically binds the onPress event to this function. So this will execute every time that you type a key, and then it will do keyboard.wait, which will wait forever and execute whatever function we put in here. So now what? We run it. Python 3 keylogger. Yeah, you have to be sudo. Yeah, so it is running now. I'm going to put hello world. I like computers. And I'm going to go to keystrokes.txt, which is a file where we're saving things. What the hell? Well, as you can see, it looks like shit. So we're going to close this. We're going to sudo rm keystroke. And instead of doing it like this, we're going to add, oh shit, where is it? We're going to add a jump line to every time that you press a key. So it will put it like key by key instead of, yeah, a key in every single delete hello world. I like computers. Yeah, so as you can see, it shows exactly what I type. HALLO space WORLD, hello world, comma, space I, space like, space computers. Control S because I saved. So if this was running in a computer and then I went to its local host, is it still running? Oh. So, or let's say that this is actual Facebook, and I put my real email, and I put my real password. Let's say that I actually logged into Facebook. What this keylogger will be doing is, it, as you can see, is able to log what you type. My real email, shift2, which basically is at email.com. Then I change to my real password, and yeah, so it is able to log whatever I type. And as you can see, it's a very simple thing to do in Python. But again, this will not work in real life. This will get detected very easily, most likely. So yeah, that's the 3 methods in which you hack a profile. It's not the only way. What is most common these days is to steal the sessions of the passwords through the browser, because it stores them. Or also there is methods like SIM swapping, which I'm not going to cover in this video. But yeah, there are of course more methods, methods that are more complicated, methods that are more malicious, but I'm not going to cover them in here. So yeah, that's the 3 methods that I wanted to talk about, and that's all the class. See ya!